everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katrina, and today I want to talk about decluttering, minimizing, and just trying to make your space feel a little more calm and inviting and not so stressful and cluttered. So I think for a lot of us, if we're trying to declutter, we get on this journey of wanting to go through everything in our house. We want to empty every cupboard, every drawer, and really purge everything, which is fantastic. The problem is it's such a large task that we often fall off the bandwagon, and then the place just ends up looking messy, and that gives us even less motivation to want to do it. Today I just want to share with you my top tips and tricks to get rid of the really obvious clutter, the stuff that's kind of holding you back and making you feel like you can't tackle the big clutter. I feel like if we can get rid of those small things or do things to, free up our counter spaces and all of that, that helps us to tackle the larger tasks. So my number one tip is probably an obvious one. I'm not the first person to say it, but sometimes you just need a reminder of the obvious things. And that is every item needs a home. Any items that are laying around that you always find just cluttering up your table, your counters, by the door, on the floor, when you pick up that item, it should have a place that it goes. And if it doesn't have a place that it belongs, those are the problem items. So when I pick up a pair of keys, I know that this goes in the container by the door, and I can pick them up and put them in there. If I have to leave my keys out somewhere so that I can find them later, they just become more clutter. It's the same with kids' toys. It's the same with your shoes. All of those items need a home, and that makes the biggest difference. Now, having said that, it's not always easy to figure out what to do with items. A lot of times you're like, where do I put this? And then it just becomes an item that floats around, and maybe it becomes a regretful purchase or something that's just always in the way. But no matter what, it needs a home. So I'm going to share with you some of the homes that I have given items. So I would say, that could be a basket, it could be a hook on the wall, it could be a cupboard. But here are some of the ways that I have made spaces in my home for items so that when I clean up, I can actually put everything away. So one of the hacks that I have is to clear up some of the counter spaces and cupboards and all of that. So I would say the bathroom is definitely an area that tends to have a lot of clutter. There's things that just tend to need to stay on the counter, and so what I've tried to do to at least make it feel more tidy is to have a basket on the counter, put the items in the basket, which at least helps because then the items are not just laying everywhere, but they are also handy and not put away in the cupboard. I think for a lot of us, we have a lot of picture frames and decor that sits on top of dressers and shelves and all of that. It's just a lot of spaces to dust, and I think a lot of times it's really sentimental, so it might not be items that we feel comfortable getting rid of. Obviously, the best thing is if you can downsize, but if you want to hold on to items, I would encourage you to put them on the walls. I put these pictures together on the wall. I know that they don't match. It doesn't bother me at all. I was having trouble finding spots for them, and I feel like putting them on the wall gives a cleaner, less cluttered look and allowed me to still display everything. I think the fridge is a primary example of an area that gets cluttered. If you have a lot of magnets, however many magnets you have is the number of things that you'll put on the fridge. And so once the fridge is completely full, it's overwhelming to go through and to try and keep it clean. And so maybe the answer is not just to throw everything out, but to find another space where some of those items can be displayed. So for me, making a place for cards really made a difference. So all I did for this is just took some heavy-duty jute, some thumbtacks, and some little clothespins, and I just tied it onto the thumbtacks nice and tight. And then I just use the little clothespins to hold up the cards. Now you can make this for cards. You could also make this for your kids' artwork, for receipts, for anything that you would normally put on the fridge, you could have on these instead. And they don't necessarily have to be in a high traffic area of your house. They could be in your office or something like that. But it at least gives you a spot to display the items and keeps your fridge from feeling cluttered. So here is a great example of something that didn't have a home before. I always found that bread products were just sitting on my countertops and I really needed a spot for them, and so I used this big ceramic bowl thing for my breads, and you know what, it's worked really well. It's just a spot to put them, but it keeps the counters from being so cluttered. So here's my problem. I have baby laundry that I keep separate so that I don't wash it all together. But it just sits on the floor here. So I'm going to just put it in a basket for now, and then later I'm going to get a laundry basket for it. There you go. Problem temporarily fixed until I get a better basket to maybe put in the hallway. So I have this area above the dresser here that just stuff piles on. So I'm going to try and put some baskets with some purpose on there. So there you have the after. I've got like socks and shoes, little baby odd items, and receiving blankets. So much more organized and much better use of space. Another thing that I've found really helpful, and if you have kids you probably will as well, and that is rotating toys. I cannot recommend this highly enough. It is the biggest game changer because I used to spend a lot of time picking up toys. And rotating them means that all I have to deal with is the number of toys that I have chosen to take out for that week or whatever. A lot of times it is not much that I take out. It might be one main thing and then a couple of small things. It might be, a big box of Duplo or something, but it all goes back into the same container, so it's not so difficult to clean up. I actually even rotate books, because I find that my toddler, he loves to read books, and he'll read them more when there's only a few there, and then when I rotate them, he's all excited about them again. Otherwise, I just end up with books everywhere, and I don't love that. I do the same with stuffed animals. I just keep out a couple at a time, so everything is always exciting, it's new, and I don't have to clean up as much. Now, before you think I have it all together, maybe you don't think that, because who am I kidding? This is a journey for all of us, right? These are things I've learned along the way. One of the things that I definitely need to work on is my kitchen. So I have been working on clearing off my countertops, and that's helping for sure. But the problem is that I have a lot of items that kind of need to be out. And so I am definitely in the process of figuring out how I can better use my kitchen and maybe purchase some shelves or hooks or something like that. So I will definitely be sharing that when I do get the chance to get those items. It is not easy to go shopping right now, and I haven't been able to find too much online. So again, all of it, for me, it's a journey as well. So that is something that I am going to be doing. But I would definitely recommend, if you can have hooks and ways of having your items in a spot that you can get at them, but still in a home, that is definitely helpful. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you got something out of this. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Share this video. Let other people know that this channel is out there and that I would love for them to join this community. And if you guys